Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is part two of the Kenmore video for repairing the fridge. And we're gonna put our gauges. Got our gauges right here. We're gonna connect it to our fridge, and to zero. If your compressor is running and you're seeing your PSI is at 20, that means the compressor is insufficient. It's not sucking as it should, and so the refrigerator won't be as cold. All right. You have to make sure that you tap the low side of the compressor before replacing it, because sometimes with these fridge we have leaks, and you don't want to just put a new compressor in if you have a leak in the system. That means you might need a condenser or evaporator. All right. So once you tap the low side of the system and you see your gauges and you see that you're not in between 10 psi and 0, then you know. So anyways, now we're gonna take the refrigerant out of the system. So connect the vacuum. You got your tank over there set up. Then you just hit and let it run. Take all the refrigerant out before you start brazing off the wires. Now, while you're taking the refrigerant out, I like to just take apart the wires, take off the wires off the compressor, take out the screws, take out the clips that hold the compressor, so that way I'm not wasting any time. While the vacuum is running, I'm getting the job done, because this job can be very lengthy. You could do this job in about an hour if you know what you're doing, and you don't run into any troubles. But on average, I'm doing these in about an hour 20. So this is the updated compressor that we're going to be putting in this refrigerator. For the updated compressor that LG sent out, we got a jig. This is a software updater. We got to update the board. So you read all the instruction that comes with the new compressor, and you connect the jig to it, and you update the board. When the board is finished updated, the jig will tell you. It will tell you that upgrade completed, and then you can move on to the next step. These compressor came out on the market, I'm gonna say about 4 years ago, when LG realized that these fridges are very problematic. Now, if you have a Kenmore, start with model number 795. LG made it. If you have an LG straight up refrigerator, they use the same linear compressor. Now, if you look at the jig, it's telling you that it's downloading the file. So you just let it do its thing. You could watch it if you want. You want to watch it because once it gets to certain screens, then you have to press the button to get it to advance. When it loads up and it says compressor replaced, you see, upgrade complete. Then you shut the jig off. Then you disconnect it from the board. The board is ready for the new compressor to be placed in. After you've upgraded the board cannot be downgraded. So you have to put the updated compressor in, all right? So now we're going to take my gauges off. We're going to line this up for start sweating these pipes out, all right? All right, so get ready. Get your tank ready and all that stuff. So now we got everything out, and you have a three-way valve over there and you have the fan. And sometimes what I find is that the heat is so high that I melt the wires on these stuff, and trust me, you melt the wires on these stuff, it's a nightmare. So I get a heat blanket. This is a blanket that can withstand heat without burning. If you don't have any of these, you want to get some. It's very important to protect the refrigerator from damaging the fan or the three-way valve. And now, that's it. It's protected. We're ready to burn it out. Ready to make some noise, all right? So that's it. Once you got your valve protected, make sure you got your safety goggles on. Things could pop, fly in your eyes. You got to be safe in this job. It's a dangerous job. I'll say that. Where you got fire and gas, it's never safe, 100%. So we turn the torch on. I use different tips. I think for this one, I got the tip that sends out the most flames. And you just hold it there until it turns red, cherry red. Pull it out, get a pliers. I use a needle nose pliers. Some people call this pliers the bird beak. Pull out the pipes. It's easier to get the copper or silver pipes out. It's burning. Try to not make it touch the floor. Try to keep your torch away from the customer's floor. I had a couple nightmares like that. Now we're going to take out the dryer. Keep it burning, keep it burning. Once it gets cherry red, you pull it, and it normally just disconnects. Please be very careful while you're doing this. Try to not burn the fridge. I did burn the top of this fridge a little bit, but wherever it was burned, it wasn't detrimental. But a lot of things could go wrong. So anyway, so we got all the pipes disconnected. Now we're going to take the compressor out. Make sure you have your gloves on. Normally the compressor is very hot, and I've got a lot of burns. So you pull the compressor out, voila, that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Takes all those rubber out. We're going to reuse all that stuff. These LG compressor, they don't come with new rubbers for the compressor to sit in. Now, if you look at the lines, there's a lot of old flux on them. This compressor has been replaced before, but it was not the upgraded compressor, so you want to clean these flux off. I got a Dremel tool, some old school guys, they like to use sandpaper, but you know, young people like myself, we like the easy stuff. So we get the Dremel with the sandpaper on it, and we just run it, smooth it out, clean off that old flux. Because if you don't clean off the old flux, what happens is you get that flux in the system, you get that flux in the line, and you don't want to have flux, because if you have flux going in the line, that's going to cause a restriction, and restriction is not good for your seal system. Everybody in the business knows that. Well, thank you for watching so far. If you're still here, please like and comment. If you have any questions, you need any tips with getting this repair done, please subscribe to my channel and let us continue. All right, so I cleaned up the line. I like putting on my process tube first on my compressor, and I like putting it on the compressor when the compressor is outside. That way I don't melt the connection socket in there, and I have melted that connection socket a couple of times, guys. So you know, these are just bonus tips to save you some trouble. So once I got my process line in, I got a wet rag. I used to cool it down. I like using my glass, my mirror, to check my joints, make sure it's properly sealed all the way around. A good technician always checks his joints, because if those joints ain't sealed, you're gonna have a problem. So now, for the copper to silver, we use 15% silver when brazing. If you use anything else, you are gonna have a leak, and I have had several leaks when I don't use 15% silver. So trust me on this one. Remember, you need your flux on your copper to silver lines, or your soldering will not stick. All right, so once you put your flux on, you're ready to go. You get your 15% silver, apply heat. You're going to apply majority of the heat on the copper side. If you apply too much heat on the silver side of this joint, okay, so I've already sorted these joints, so now I'm going to do a pre-leak test. I'm going to connect on the process tube nitrogen, and I'm going to blow nitrogen through the system. And just to make sure that nitrogen comes all the way through, that tells me that I don't have a restriction and all my lines are clear. All right, this is very important for you to do, because I have found that sometimes when you solder these lines on these Kenmore LG refrigerators, you do solder them shut. So you want to always do this throughout the step. So I connect my nitrogen to the low side on the process tube, and I blow nitrogen through. While I'm blowing nitrogen through, I cover the capillary tube, the order loop that goes up, cover that so all the air comes through the dryer. And as long as you get nitrogen coming through your dryer, then you know on the high side you're all clear. It has not been sorted shut. This is very important. Now once you connect your loop to your dryer, you run nitrogen again through the system, and then the nitrogen should be coming out at a higher pressure. Now that tells you that you're clear all the way. Now, once that's done, we're going to do a leak test. This is the final step before we put the refrigerant in. You connect your both lines, low and high side, and you shoot nitrogen through the system until the system can't take any more. Now, once you've done that, you get your bubble leak, and you put it on your joints to make sure you're not getting any bubbles. And that's going to tell you that all your joints has been sealed. There's no leak, and you won't have a leak issue with this fridge. Now once you've done that, you leave your gauges to sit for about 10 minutes. I leave my gauges to sit for about 10 minutes. I take a picture of where the gauges are, and then I come back in 10 minutes and I look at my gauges, and as long as my pressure has not dropped, then I know that there's not a leak in the system. While that is happening, I like, putting my gauges up top, and once that's done, we're going to put the system on a vacuum. Now this is a very important step. Your vacuum has to be running for at least 20 minutes. Once your vacuum is finished running for 20 minutes, it's time to charge it up. I find that charging these refrigerators on the low side with a gas charge is better. I used to charge them on the high side liquid charge, and it always costs me a recall. So charge your system on the low side gas charge, all right? And once you've put in about 1 ounce of your refrigerant, you could plug the compressor in, have the compressor run, and so it charges a little bit faster for you, so you're not there forever. And for the gauges, this system takes 4.7 refrigerant, but I like to put an extra 0.2 ounces in there. Reason being, because you gotta keep in mind that a lot of the refrigerant are going to be left over in your gauges, and you want to make sure that the system has enough refrigerant that it needs to keep the customer's food cold. So you just watch the scale. You don't want to go too much over. I don't suggest going more than 0.3 over, or you're going to overcharge your system, and overcharge is not good. Now, after you've charged it, turn the refrigerant off, you shut off the process line, and then you just let the compressor run. And as you can already see, my compressor is close to 10 psi. So off the gate, this new compressor is doing very great. and you just sit there for a little bit. You look at the board to make sure the light is not flashing anymore, and you know you're good. This paper comes with the new compressor. Be sure to fill it out so if a technician comes out after you, he knows that the board has been updated. And that's it. You fix the fridge and it's good. As long as you follow all these steps, you won't have a recall. If you have any questions, please leave comments below. Thank you for watching today. If I helped you today, subscribe to my channel, like and comment and share this video. Your boy, Third Person Tech, I'm out.